All right, so today we are going to have a discussion on something that is such a cool part of our community and such an important part, and that is Aquidneck Community Table, of course, the farmers market and everything that surrounds it as well. And joining us is Bevan Linsley to break it all down for us. Good morning.
Good morning, Bill. Good morning, Newport this week.
Absolutely. So, all right, so let's start with the Aquidneck Community Table. Tell us about what it is, and for anybody who doesn't know, kind of give us that synopsis.
Sure. Our mission is to it's a long-term mission, so we have to break it into pieces to get there. A long-term mission to build a healthy food system for the island that serves everyone. And as you can imagine, that's a really long-range goal, and we work towards it through. I think if you can see behind me on the logo, we have those three images, and they mean grow, eat, and connect. And those are the three pillars of what we do. We grow food, we teach people how to grow food, we create spaces, community gardens and school gardens where food is grown. We help people eat good food through farmers markets and the programs that we have at them. And we also connect people to a conversation about what it means to be healthy, what it means to have food access and food justice, and what are we going to do as a community over the long run to get there.
Let's work backwards from in those points. Let's start with that food access piece, which is so critical that we in many circles anyway, we've kind of become accustomed to the term food deserts, which is a very real thing. Even in our state, access to fresh, healthy food is something that is not readily available for everybody, certainly within walking distance. And even on Aquidneck Island, this is the case. So how important is it to target those food deserts with at least a shot at access to fresh, healthy foods?
Really important, because if the goal is to make sure that, well, it's twofold really, that no one is hungry, everybody has enough to eat, but also everybody has enough food that is good for their bodies to eat. And if we look particularly at the north end of Newport, it's not quite a food desert. I looked up the federal determination a few years ago, and it doesn't quite meet that standard, but it's pretty close to that. And there's a lot of people in that community that don't have a car. And so the thought of walking to the big box store for groceries and then carrying them home again, that's a challenge. Wow, there's so many directions I could go in that conversation.
See, in 5 hours, basically, because it's so
yeah, 5 days maybe. Yeah, it does make me want to share a program that we have with the viewers of this podcast. We've been working for a while now with Newport Health Equity Zone, and we lead the Food Access Working Group, which is a coalition of organizations and people that are working towards this very thing. And when the HES did a survey back in 2016, residents of the North End and the Broadway area community said, hey, we want our own farmers market. And so we did that in several locations, 3 locations, 1, 2, 3. And in 2019 had this really great market in Mayantonomi Park that was just a wonderful place to be, and did bring food access into that community, and also created a community event. And then we had COVID, and coming back from COVID has been a challenge for farmers markets. But this year we have something really great happening. Mayantonomi Park, Monday afternoons in July and August, and there will be Martin Luther King's Produce to the People program there. So that will be distributing fresh produce at no charge. And the market stall will have the SNAP program, where we give 100% match to, it used to be called food stamps. SNAP is Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. So there's the 100% match there. So that's 2 ways of getting food into that community. Plus there'll be this fabulous, this is a word that comes to my mind, cooking demonstration and live music. So there's a community event, but also a way for people to access good and more food, fresh, local.
That's spectacular. And look, hunger is an enormous challenge that we face in our world. Let's be honest about it. And there are different tiers of it. But one thing when we talk about hunger in general, and I know that the access and the programming you offer doesn't explicitly, or I should say exclusively target those who are truly experiencing hunger. But something that oftentimes I've found gets overlooked or bypassed are two major areas. One, culturally appropriate food, and number two, healthy food. And when you can deliver fresh ingredients to a community, it empowers that community to not only say, all right, here's a box of macaroni and cheese, we fed you, which again, there's people who are doing hard work to make sure that that minimum standard is there. But you go way beyond that and say, hey, we'll give you ingredients to cook something that may be culturally appropriate, and here's some fresh, healthy food and a nice experience to go with it.
I'm so glad you brought this up, because yesterday we had a meeting about this event. And Martin Luther King Community Center's Produce to the People buys from two island farmers, Hawk and Hansor Farm and Garmin Farm, Middletown and Portsmouth, and they have been growing culturally appropriate foods specifically for this program. So there are things, the ingredients for, say, sofrito, which is peppers and tomatoes and cilantro and onions, and is a staple of some cuisines that can be made with abundance of produce in the summer and then frozen. So that's one of the components. We're trying to tie it all together. And can I just riff off that, please?
Please, riff away.
Thank you. So one of the other things that I wanted to talk about is a summer youth employment program that we have. It's called the Route Riders, because it teaches first job skills for high school age students, but it also teaches them about growing food, because we manage 5 school and community gardens in the North End surrounding Mayantonomi Park. This will be the 3rd year of the program. The kids, it's called the Route Riders because they get around between gardens on bicycles, hence, route riders. And they have, until this year, they have sold the produce grown in those gardens through a farm stand in Mayantonomi Park. But because we're sort of shifting the premise of the market this year to free produce, we're going to tie the kids and what is grown in those gardens into this whole notion of culturally appropriate foods. What does the community want? Let's plant it now so that we have it to distribute in July and August, and get kids out and about and learning about good food and how to grow food and what a healthy food system entails. And they get paid.
And is that funded through a grant?
Several grants, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And also we partner with the East Bay Community Action Program to help us fund that too. So we're looking for 12 high school students. They work 20 hours a week for 6 weeks, and they get paid $15 an hour, and they have really a great time, and they learn a lot.
What a cool program, man. You look at the world sometimes and it can be discouraging. Even in our own little community, sometimes you see things, there's tragedy, there's injustice, there's just things that you go, what is going on here? And then we're talking to you right now, and it's like, okay, the world is good. There's good.
I'll take that into the weekend. Okay. Yeah.
Let's talk about the farmers markets in general, because it's such a staple of in terms of a community event. It's such it defines some people's calendars. You know what I mean? So what programming are you offering as a whole in terms of farmers markets this late spring into summer and early autumn?
Okay, that's an easy one. So we are closing up the indoor season at Stoneacre Garden. The last Saturday morning market, it's 9 to 12 on Saturdays, runs until the end of April. Then as some of our market customers will know, it's been quite a journey for the Saturday morning market since we had to leave Newport Vineyards back in, when was that, 2019.
Yeah.
And we've been in several locations, but finally have landed in a place that works well in so many ways. We are thankful to Embrace Home Loans, whose campus is on East Main in Middletown, just north of Middletown Town Hall and that little shopping plaza there. There's loads of parking space. There's lots of space for the market. So we're going back for our second year, a second summer there, starting the first Saturday in May. I should have that date, but you know, people can remember first Saturday.
May 6th.
Thank you. Yes.
I don't know why I know that, but I do.
Okay. So there's going to be lots of activities for kids, some really fun stuff, the Food Explorers program, and scavenger hunts and things like that. We also have Saturday morning yoga classes. I think there's going to be two classes before the market and then after, so people can come and do their shopping and get their stretching exercise into. That is, I wrote down the name. Oh, Zen Den is the group that will be offering those classes. So really a fun series of opportunities on Saturday mornings. And then the Memorial Market on Wednesday afternoon. We just got our permit from City Council last week, and that market returns. What's your calendar going to tell you, Bill? It's the middle Wednesday in May. So I think that's the 17th, maybe?
Sounds about right. It sounds about right. Don't quote me on that one, but.
Okay. And that runs from 2 to 6. And we have some of our, many of our familiar vendor faces come and meet your farmers, but there's also some new vendors there this summer too. And if anybody wants to find out information about all of this, I know you're going to ask me anyway, it's all on our website, the Route Riders programs and the farmers market information. And that is aquidneckcommunitytable.org. If we'd known then what we know now, we'd have made that name shorter, but
yeah,
too late now. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's such an important part of the community, and it's something that I love so much. And I remember there was some confusion, or I don't even know if that's the right word. There was some concern about the Memorial Market. You know, is it dangerous to have it at that location? So all of that's been resolved in terms of approval then.
It has indeed, yes. And every year we hear that concern, and every year we sort of tighten up the parking situation. And I think we like to think that having this big visual thing right there on the crest between the beach and downtown, it makes the traffic slow down because they want to know what's going on. There have not been any accidents there, but it is such a busy road that if people can walk or ride a bike or a scooter over, there's plenty of places to leave, bikes and scooters. And that is really a great help in terms of keeping the traffic down and parking.
A truly holistic contributor to our community, and something that I'm proud to say I love, and I wish I could go to the Wednesday market. I'm on the radio in the afternoon, 3 to 6. So I used to make my schedule would be around the Wednesday market. Now I send my my goons out to get my juice and fresh veggies for me. So Bevan,
juice will be there.
I can't wait for the juice. Thank you so much for everything you do for the community and for being here this morning.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.